Today, we'll test how well more modern vehicles only allowed to use their ATGM and missile types can do against an outnumbering amount of World War II vehicles. Can the advanced technology of missiles be enough to save the more modern vehicles from some of history's most feared war machines? Or will the team only allowed to use missiles be wishing they had the use of their other weapons? Today, we find out. In our first round, our participants voted to try 9 missile vehicles versus 40 mostly early World War II tanks. Then, depending on how round 1 goes, we'll do a mystery number of missile tanks against all era World War II tanks. And last, a night round of chaos. The advantage of the missile team is they can guide their missiles since they're mainly ATGMs, and they won't have any trouble penetrating since their missiles can have up to 850 millimeters of penetration compared to what most World War II tanks have for armor with 50 to 120 millimeters. But the missiles are a lot slower than those shells, so they will have to be careful here. Some MBTs have the missile ability and will have the better armor than others. Let's see how our first round goes. Our participants were thinking the early World War II vehicles are not even going to stand a chance here. The first map that was voted upon to test this out on was a long-range one, and the second to test out was going to be in a more urban combat situation. It'll be interesting to see how these two go. The first World War II tanks making their appearance and push through the trees. And I have to apologize because War Thunder's replay system kind of sucks when it comes to first-person views with their aimer. Their aimers just shake a little bit, so I try to do a lot of editing here just to get what looks good. See how long it takes for some of these missiles to reach the other side in comparison to some of these shells flying right past or very close to them. Big difference here. The nice thing is that with the ATGMs, you just have to line up your crosshairs and have those crosshairs stay on your enemy just to have that missile guided to where you want to go. The World War II tanks are going to have to use their range finders, try to get that distance right, get the trajectory and the arc right on their cannon so that those shells can land and hit right where they want. Time isn't going to be on the World War II tank side with aiming and trying to get that accurate shot off, and time isn't going to be on the ATGM side for how long it takes the missile to reach their target. I mean, just look at how long it takes this missile to reach its enemy. And that shot was maybe 400 meters or 0.24 miles. We can see the more lightly armored missile vehicles using the bushes and hills to try and hide behind, while the MBTs just simply don't give a rat's while driving out in the open, thinking their armor should give them what they'll need. Let's see if that's the case. Even with the accuracy of the ATGM following the crosshairs, some still were able to dodge it. We're 3.5 minutes in, and 12 World War II tanks have been destroyed with still 28 to go, and none of the missile team has fallen yet. My recording didn't work for the voice comms. I wanted to get off Discord happening during the event, but they were saying at this point just how easy this was. Let's see if that holds up for the last remaining 5 minutes still left of this battle. And I don't know what's going on with that missile, but once again, there's the War Thunder replay system for you. It is traveling in the air, going toward its target. Will it ever get there? Finally. These were the two MBTs out in the open, constantly just getting bombarded with shells, but their armor is impressive. They won't have much of a chance. According to the armor inspector, they should not be able to pen them. The first missile, teammate down. Not all, but some of these vehicles on the missile team did have thermals, helping them even more see through all these bushes and trees of where all these World War II tanks might be trying to hide in. whereas the World War II tanks only had just what the natural eye could see. And that poor L3, a brave participant's soul, had brought out the smallest tank. The MBTs are seen here getting their tracks taken out, but nothing critically damaged. The World War II team's faster wheeled armored vehicles coming on the side and takes out the first on the missile team, one of the MBTs, which there was 3 that this team started out with, but now there's only 2. At this point, it was kind of funny because after that MBT died, the vibe of the call from the missile team started to change a little bit from more laughter and how easy this was to maybe being a little more serious. The World War II team, as you can see in the bottom right spectator map, just how close they're getting, just trying to swarm and overrun them at this point. And even though after the missile shot and the tank may die, that missile will still travel and could still eliminate the World War II target. Six minutes in with 7 left on the missile team and 22 left on the World War II side. Who do you think will win round 1? I'm on the ATGM side making an aggressive push here, not realizing some of the World War II tanks have taken the town and are a lot closer than many of them think. This is it, and what we all thought, where the World War II tanks were just going to get absolutely wasted. We are now down to the last ATGM vehicle with still 17 World War II tanks left. Will the strength of this T-80's more modern armor be able to withstand the beating that it's about to take? Its barrel is damaged and cannot fire its ATGMs unless that gets fixed. There it goes, it is officially gone, and they are closing in. And I don't know if he's going to have enough time to repair this barrel before they are right on him. Oh, barrel fixed? Ooh, and that was it. The Puma side shot pulls through, takes out the T-80. We now go into round 2, where we're going to try out a urban map between these two sides. We now increase the amount of ATGMs to 15 against 40. Let's see how this second round goes. We're seeing a big push here on one side of the map, all ATGMs on one, and a lot of the World War II tanks going the same side. They're about to run into each other head on. ATGM side using their drones to try and get an idea of where they are, and they can see the swarm closing in. Just engine sounds coming from everywhere in almost all directions. Kind of a dangerous place to be, spearheading and being right in the front here, but the T-80's got a lot of good armor going for it. Oh, ignoring its left side. That could have been really dangerous. The ATGM side seems to be just spearheading down one way, whereas the World War II tanks are just pouring out through sides all over. Getting a lot of different vantage points here. And moving his barrel around very smart here, trying not to get that hit, as that is really his only saving grace for being able to knock out his enemies. That poor Puma. Already we've got 2 ATGM tanks down and only 4 World War II tanks down, with only being about 3.5 minutes in. Ouch. And getting your barrel taken out is probably one of the worst things. And now here comes the beating as all the World War II tanks come around the corner just to pelt this poor T-80. Panther looks like he's had something taken out on him, just got taken out. These ATGM tanks are just falling apart a lot faster compared to the long range, which makes sense. I mean, there was more space, gaps between them, so there was more protection. It was harder for the World War II tanks to get shots off on them. Ooh, just before the Tiger II could get a shot off. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of space here, so the advantage that the World War II tanks are going to have here is just pointing and shooting, most likely just getting the shot off. They really don't have to use their rangefinder that takes time to accurately get their shots off. Nice little blind kill right through the smoke. In an urban combat situation, the World War tanks are going to have the advantage here with taking really no time. Now, the downfall that they will have is none of them are, or very little of them, are stabilized. So they're going to have to, when they do come to a stop, waiting for that aimer to line up just right and then take the shot off. But the ATGM side, they could really just come around the corner, not even be aimed, fire the missile, and then aim, and then have the ATGM just follow wherever that aimer is as it's on its path. I did some research on why a tank in real life would use its anti-tank guided missiles instead of its own cannon, and there were several reasons. One, range. ATGMs typically have longer range than tank cannons. 2, precision. ATGMs can be more precise than tank cannons, even though I'd interviewed a tank commander on a previous video and he was telling me about the precision of those cannons. It was very impressive, even when those tanks were on the move. 3, armor penetration. ATGMs are typically designed to penetrate heavily armored, such as that found on enemy tanks. While tank cannons can also penetrate armor, there may be situations where an ATGM is more effective at doing so. I mean, you looked at some of this, and we had talked about earlier them having about 850 millimeters of penetration with some of these missiles, which is just insane. Then flexibility. ATGMs can be fired from a variety of different platforms. I mean, outside of tanks, you got helicopters, ground-based launchers, which means the tank crew can use its ATGMs in a variety of situations, even if they're not in direct contact with an enemy. Geez, 6.5 minutes in with only 3 ATGM vehicles left and still 26 World War II vehicles to go. Can our participants turn this around for our urban combat scenario? And now we're down to 2. And 1 left on the run. This got a little intense here. With the smoke he's popping, the participants on Discord are talking about using lots of smoke here. Just trying to put out that fire. His thermals can see right through that. World War II tanks are not going to have that at all. So he does use that to his advantage a lot right here, which is really cool. And they just have no idea. It's hard because he's trying to look backwards to keep an eye on the enemy so he knows where he's firing, but it's also hard because he's trying not to run into the buildings too. Not a great shot there. This smoke could really help him out a ton. If he keeps himself on the move, continually using that smoke as it regenerates, it could really turn things around here. Everyone on the ATGM side is just yelling for him to either turn left, right, go this way. You can even see some of them marked up by their spawn. As they disappear, they know he's down here somewhere. You can hear some engine sounds coming down this road. And they know. They're peeking, trying to line up a shot. Ooh. He's got a track out. This may put him in a bad spot. Okay, luckily did not hit the barrel. IS-3. Can he get out without getting hit? Can hear something just right over on the other side of that building. Man, they are everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Cookies was sweating here. There was a lot of intensity on Discord. A lot on this World War II side, not quite paying attention. Oh man, and he has got to protect that barrel. This is getting pretty scary for him. Lots of engine sounds over on his left-hand side. There's a Tiger. Oh, and a track out. Ooh, not enough to do much to that Tiger. Barrel gone. This may be the last of our hero here. The ATGM side looking like they may take another lose. I mean, of course they were quite outnumbered here, but I mean, we really thought this would have been balanced. And that is it. We actually did a two-part chaos at night. It just went so fast, and honestly, it's kind of painful. In my opinion, you'll have to let me know what you think, but to look at some of this stuff in night vision, I don't know, it just kind of hurts my eyes. I figured it probably would do the same here, but huge disadvantage here is the World War II tanks don't have thermals, don't have night vision, I think for the most part. Can't really even see where these ATGM tanks are coming from, and things turned around so fast. The ATGM side, as you can tell, are completely pushing all the World War II tanks that have infinite spawns, and it was supposed to be a 15-minute timer, and it only lasted like maybe 6 minutes. Now, I couldn't find any record when trying to do research on if there was ever an instance when a World War II tank had been hit by an ATGM. Now, obviously not during World War II because they weren't around until the 1960s, but World War II tanks even used after World War II were phased out around 1950s, 1960s. A lot of that World War II technology just becoming obsolete. So you'll have to let me know in the comments below if there ever was an instance of a World War II type tank being used after the war being hit by an ATGM. Now this really was just chaos. Our participants just constantly spawning, running into battle, trying to just see what they could do. This was just absolutely crazy. Cookies here just dominating. I think he did just every single round. I just love how the ATGMs just pop out of some of these tanks. How they all fold up and stuff just looks so cool. Nice shot. Excellent blind shot through the smoke there. Even just seeing the missiles compared to the damage indicator on the side is just crazy. It looks so big. And that is it. Hope you guys all enjoyed this. Our participants said they had a lot of fun, so take their word for it. You guys all stay cool and keep tanking.